Hey, American History students. I just wanted to make a quick video to welcome you to the course and to give you kind of a quick overview of how the course is set up, where you can find everything, just to make sure that we're all on the same page as we jump into this 8-week semester. So let's begin by looking at the homepage. If you're watching this video, you found your way to the homepage. So I just want to point out a few key features so you know what you're looking at. At the top here, you'll see a box called Course Resources. These are the most important links for the course, the ones that you'll use the most often. So take a look at that and kind of make note of where to find it. These include things like the course syllabus. So if you click on that link, it'll bring you to the course syllabus here. The course schedule. If you click on the course schedule, you can see the full course schedule laid out. You can click on each week and it'll tell you exactly what you need to do and how you'll be graded, as well as the due dates for the week. You can see grading policies, how to contact me, a link to my team's office. I do have virtual office hours most days of the week. I'm in Marietta. I have in-person office hours in Marietta, but I also have virtual office hours. When I'm offering those, I will be in my team's office. So you can just click here to pop into those. And then if my office hours don't work for you, you can sign up for an appointment at this calendar. And then over here, you'll see extra credit in the tutorial center and a frequently asked questions file. So all of this is really helpful information. Below course resources, you'll see a button called Go to Course Content. You can click on this to just pick up wherever you left off in the content section. And then below that are the announcements. I will post announcements on a fairly regular basis, typically about twice a week. There'll be one at the beginning of every week that lays out exactly what you need to do for the week, and then one about midweek to check in. I would recommend that you sign up for notifications for these announcements just so that you're alerted whenever I post an announcement so you don't miss anything. In the right-hand column, you'll see the content browser and the calendar. The content browser is where all of the material for the course lives. This is where you'll find the meat of the course, and it's what you'll be navigating through once we get started. And then the calendar just has all of the due dates kind of in one place. In fact, in terms of the due dates in this course, you can find it in a number of places, or you can find them in a number of places. You can find them in the syllabus, in the course schedule. I'll post them in the weekly announcements. You can find them in the calendar. So lots of places for you to make note of when things are due, but essentially the assignments each week will be due on Sundays at 11:59 p.m. Easy to keep straight. Okay, so now let's go to the content browser. So this is an 8-week course, and you'll see that the content is divided into eight folders, right? So 8 modules. Each of them is labeled with the week number. So week 1 is the number 1 folder, week 2 is number 2, week 3 is 3, so on and so forth, all the way down to week 8 and the final reflection. There is one final folder at the bottom called Case Study Assignments. It just has a lot of useful information about the case study. So if you ever need help or other resources, if you find that you're a little confused about the case study, go there and you'll find some help. So we're in week 1. Let's click on week 1, start here. If I click on that, you'll see that there are 3 subfolders. So for the subfolders, I have orientation and class overview, I have the readings and resources, and the graded assignments. So let's click on the readings and resources first. Let's look on the overview first. So the overview is kind of where you'll, as exactly as it sounds, find an overview. For week 1, it's an overview of the course. For week 2 on, it's just going to be an overview of that week's material. You can click on the first thing, which is the newsletter that I already sent out. So read through that, and then when you're ready to move on, use the arrows to kind of move you through. Once you've worked through the overview folder, you're ready to go to the readings and resources. For readings and resources, this course works with video lectures, and each of the video lectures has a transcript with it. So let me show you what that will look like. Within readings and resources, there are links to each of the individual videos that you need to watch. In this case, we have Intro to Historical Thinking Skills. So I'm going to click on that, and you will see you can find the video, a table of contents where you can find all of the information. There's the transcript, there's the links, and there are key terms and questions to consider. All right, so that you can always find under Readings and Resources. And then when you're ready, you'll go to the Graded Assignments folder. For the graded assignments, for week 1, you just have 2. There's the quiz and the discussion. I've popped in the Any Questions folder just in case you have them, but that's not required. It's not graded. So quiz 1 and the discussion. And discussions are handled in Perusall instead of in the discussion board. So what you would do is just click on this link. It will take you to Perusall. Let me get us logged in. And you won't need to log in for that. It'll take you directly to the assignment. In this case, it would take you to the week 1 discussion. You can find the instructions on the home page, and then you click open. For Perusall, it's just an opportunity to talk to each other and engage with the text through what's called social annotation, but it essentially works like social media. I would highlight something that I found interesting, and then I would type my comment, right? And then let's just say somebody was interested in my comment. They could reply to my comment, so we could have an actual conversation. If you are interested in reading something else, right? So let's just say there's a picture. Let's just say I want to comment on this little picture here. I can go up here and switch to annotate figure, and that just lets me drop a pen, and then I can comment over here. So annotate text, annotate figure. And that's what you'll be doing, right? So for week 1, you just have 1 article that you need to read and comment on, 3 comments that you need to make. Starting in week 2, you'll really get into the meat of it. And from week 2 through week 7, you're going to have 3 parts. There is a video that you need to watch, an article, a short secondary source article that you need to read and comment on, and then a primary source packet that you need to read and comment on. And you can see the instructions here, right? So for part 2, you need to make 3 comments. For part 3, you need to make 4 comments. You need to read at least 2 of the primary sources. So the packets typically have like 10 to 12 sources in there. You just need to read and comment on 2 of those. But if I open this, you can see that it starts with the video. And then the next part is the article that I told you about. This is where you need to make the 3 comments. And then this is the primary source packet where you need to make the 4 comments spread across 2 different primary sources. So you can see document set 1 here. So Andrew Carnegie's The Gospel of Wealth is one source. William Graham Sumner's On Social Darwinism is another source. And there it'll populate as you go down. But there'll be multiple sources that you can use to comment on. And each week is going to look like that. Video, article, primary source packet. So week 1, quiz and Perusall discussion. When you get to week 2, you'll see that you have the overview folder. And I always recommend that you start with the week 2 at a glance folder. It's really helpful because it starts with a video overview. This is kind of what to expect in the course. in the module. And the central historical question. Each week is organized around a question that we're trying to answer. And the big assignment, which is the case study, right? The big assignment is answering that question. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to put evidence together to answer that question. Like I said earlier, there is a separate video, a couple of videos on how to do this. I'm not going to talk about it now, but everything starts with this question. So start with week 2 at a glance so that you can familiarize yourself with what you need, what you're going to be doing. There's a checklist. There's a note-taking outline. The note-taking outline corresponds with the video lectures and will help you stay on track. And then there's a study guide. Once you've made it through the video lectures, you can take the quiz. Then you will launch into the discussion. And the discussion is that Perusall, the video, the article, the primary sources. You'll see that there's a 3rd folder here squeezed in between readings and resources and graded assignments. This is the primary source packet. It is the same packet that is in Perusall. It's just another place that you can locate it, right? So if you don't want to click into Perusall to find to work with your primary sources for the case study, you can find them here. And if I click on that, I'll show you what that looks like. You can see excuse me, you can see each of the primary sources that I was talking about earlier, right? You have to do 2 of these. So there's Carnegie and Sumner, George and Reese, Tarbell and Wells, so on and so forth. And then when I get down to the graded assignments, I've got a quiz, I've got the Perusall discussion, and I've got the case study. So each week from 2 through 7, you're going to have a quiz, a perusal discussion, and a case study. You have to do every week you have to do the quiz. Every week you have to do the perusal discussion. You have to do 3 of the case studies. And then your last assignment will be the final reflection and then a very quick 10-question quiz. So that is it. That's how the course works. It starts to make sense if you're feeling a little confused or overwhelmed. It does start to make sense as you get going because each week is structured the same way, different content, but it's a very familiar flow. If you have questions at this point, you can do a few things. One, you can pop here into the discussion forum and ask any questions that you might have. 2, you could go to this practice assignment. I've loaded the course syllabus into Perusall to allow you to practice with it, just to get the hang of how to use it if you've never used it before. So that's a good place to ask questions. Or you can shoot me an email. Anyway, so that is kind of a basic overview, and I hope that it explained everything to you. I'm looking forward to learning with you this semester, and let's get started.